Today's topic. Now, everyone has heard about this flower power, okay? And this is not about, somebody going and proposing to a girl or saying happy birthday or things like that. So the flower power is that some plants are really great for your health. Yeah, flowers. I mean, not just for smelling, not just the aroma. The aroma is great. The scents are fantastic. But there are some properties that are there in flowers that you may not probably would have suspected that there could be some extra benefits. So you've heard a lot about, chamomile, and very popularly known as the Earl Grey tea. Okay, a lot of people would have heard about it, and it's a flower. It looks very dainty. It's mostly a white flower, and it's got a yellow pollen in the middle, and it has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties. So there are medicinal values in a lot of these flowers. So taking chamomile for it, it really kind of soothes you down. It calms you down. It reduces a lot of inflammation that can happen in the body due to a lot of other things. Now, what are those things? Like, you remember, it's toxic substances that might have gotten to your body. It might be an offshoot of bacteria because they produce a lot of toxic waste, and other things that you might get from the air and atmosphere, and including stress. Who doesn't have stress? I mean, there are times in your work it's so crazy, and you're trying to put things together in the last few minutes, and things don't go right. You definitely get under stress, and stress, as you know, kicks up your cortisol, and then the whole inflammatory kind of thing just becomes a circus out there. So at that moment when you're really worked up, it's good to have a nice warm cup of chamomile tea. Okay. Not only that, it's good for gastric ulcers. If you've got a sort of a loose tummy, this is something that can work really well. And even if you have a sore throat. So for women, it calms the menstrual pain. So it's something that really calms you down. So the first thing that you think about C, chamomile, C is calm. And so it's something that you should remember. And you find them very often. You find them around in many stores. Now you get infused, you get the tea bags. But if you can get hold of the chamomile petal by itself, it's also good. You can infuse it directly because it's fresh, and fresh is always going to give you a lot more potency, right? Now, there's something that is really nice about this is actually if you make a solution out of this, boil the water and put a few of these petals inside, you can use it for certain eye infections like conjunctivitis. Okay, you just put a few drops into your eye and it will actually reduce the inflammation. As you can see, that it's so anti-inflammatory, and it's not harmful to the eye at all. Of course, try not to make it very concentrated. Just keep it at the same concentration that you'd have when you have a tea. And superb. I mean, it's something which you don't have to go run down to the pharmacy and get. And if you have one of those, those chamomile petals around, you can definitely find it. Not really important, but it's good to keep in your little stock of armory, I'd call. So kitchen is going to be your armory going forward. There are so many things that ingredients and things that you need to have. They're just going to be your weapons, and it's the weapons that you're going to use against the harsh environment that we have in life. Okay, not really flowering, but thyme. Okay, thyme is kind of a very underrated herb, or you say a kind of a plant. It has extremely good antiviral properties. Now, this is something that people could have actually taken during the COVID time. And for those who ate a lot of Italian food, you sprinkle a little bit of thyme on it. It definitely helps. Now, thyme, what does thyme really taste like? Okay, and I always wondered because a lot of people are not familiar with this herb. And I'd like to tell people that thyme is very similar tasting to ajwain. Okay, so if you know the taste of ajwain, it's kind of very closely related to that. And you'll taste it and you'll say, oh, it tastes kind of ajwainish. And it's got, it's kind of in between ajwain and a kind of a jeera flavor. Okay. It's got a lot of anti properties. Okay. I mean, everything. Okay. Antimicrobial as well. Okay. So, thyme can be actually put, if you crush it down, you can actually put it into your shoes and things like that. So, and of course, anti-inflammatory. A lot of these flowers have this anti-inflammatory properties. But they've been using thyme for a lot of respiratory problems, okay? Cough, bronchitis, and maybe even if you have a respiratory infection. So coming back to the point where COVID was kind of really attacked your respiratory system, this was something that people could have used at that time to give kind of very, very good relief instead of depending on a lot of paracetamols and popping. Because if you reacted to it positively, then that would actually reduce your dependency on having any medication. Now, for women these days is becoming an extremely big concern is urinary tract infections. Now, why are these things so dangerous? Is because UTI can actually get into your bloodstream, and then it gets into what we call sepsis. And it's not the urinary tract infection, but it's spreading to the other parts of the body that can be quite distressful, and it can go all the way up to death. So this is something that you can use. You can use it topically, or you can even have it have it in your food, or have it just as a dry, not as a dry, as a concoction you put in hot water. Okay, and what's really good, and I kind of discovered recently, it actually fights plaque on teeth. Okay, and we see a lot of toothpaste, but I've never really seen a toothpaste with thyme in it. But maybe I haven't looked long enough. But to know that this is only one of the few plants that I've seen that actually have this ability to fight plaque on teeth. So it's something that if you can make a concoction out of it, just put a few. And now thyme is actually available on your doorstep apps. The ones which you get door delivery. You can actually find them. They're there online. I mean, you can just order it, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It's very affordable, and it's something that you can keep in your armory. Okay, so there's a particular component which is called cavracrol, and it's an aroma that is present in the thyme. Okay, and this aroma actually kind of reduces anxiety. Okay, quite interesting. The body reacts to it, and it's kind of soothing. And especially if you're really in anxiety, it'll help you, relax and come down. Now, thyme is also said to promote hair growth, the regrowth, not just hair growth, the regrowth of hair. Okay, now something I got to try and see how that works. And it's also great if you can powder it and make a slightly thick paste out of it. It's good for your skin. Now, and what's the dilution? 5 grams of thyme in 100 ml of water. So it's probably a little more dense and it's not really a paste, but it's 5% solution, I'd say. So that's something you can use for your skin, and it's great for people who get acne or pimples, or maybe if you've got an insect bite and kind of leaves a little lump on your skin. It's something you can just apply, and it's all natural. I mean, it's great, and it doesn't cost you a bomb. And what about the shelf life? Now, if you actually keep it in the fridge, it'll stay for a very, very, very long time. And don't worry if it dries out; it'll still have a lot of potency in it. It's quite a hardy shrub to keep in your fridge, and it doesn't get rotten; it just dries. So that's a good thing. And it has a pleasant aroma, so it won't leave any discerning smell in your refrigerator. And that's good for everyone, right? Okay. Some things, of course, fruits do tend to get bad, vegetables tend to get bad, and they can kind of release quite a funny smell in your refrigerator. But this is something you don't need to worry about. Most of the flowers actually just dry, and they don't really, they don't rot. So that's quite an interesting thing. Now, again, the same thing goes with rosemary. Okay, rosemary, as you know, has an extremely pleasant smell. Okay, it's also antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. Okay, what they have discovered is that it actually enhances memory and concentration. It's kind of a lot of people do use it to prevent even premature brain aging. Okay, uh, because the cells in the brain will tend to die of some time, but I believe it slows down that degradation process quite a bit. So rosemary is something you need to have in your armory sooner or later. And who doesn't want to stay young forever, at least sharp? Okay. Now, besides having its control on certain types of cancer, it is especially very effective against breast cancer. So, if there are any women that are listening to this or watching this, uh, just remember that's something that you can keep in your armory and have it once a week. I mean, if you don't have it every day, it's fine. Uh, but you can get a range of these floral teas that I've just mentioned and keep them around. Have them have one different one each day. It's great, and kind of acquire a taste for it, see how it tastes. Uh, these teas can also be mixed with wine, so it can give you kind of a different sort of a flavor to it. It's kind of an interesting thing to have. Some people even have it with honey. With they mix a little water and honey and bring some of these. But what I tend to say is don't mix a lot of these herbs together. Have them in singular. It always helps. Okay. Now, eyesight is something that we lose as we get older, and this is because of macular degeneration. Okay. Now, it is believed to have carnosic acid. Okay. Now, this carnosic acid actually slows down this macular degeneration that you have in the eye. So, which means you can have a better eyesight for a longer period of time. And this promotes, it doesn't make hair grow, but it promotes hair growth. Now, how does it do this? It prevents an excess buildup of testosterone on the scalp. Now, having an excess testosterone in the scalp makes the skin thick. And what happens is the roots that want to penetrate the scalp don't actually get out. Okay, because the skin has started to harden. And it hardens because of a variety of the testosterone that the body creates. And so what this does is actually reduces this concentration of testosterone in the scalp. That's number one. And number two is it prevents a buildup of dandruff and scaliness on the scalp. So it actually promotes hair growth. Okay, so I mean, we did talk about the other herbs that actually help the hair to grow directly in the previous slides. But let's move on. Okay, I've just a few more. I mean, there are many flowers out there. I don't know if I think I missed one. The other one is actually jasmine, and jasmine is a very sweet smelling flower, and it has a lot of good properties for your skin. Okay, and one of the things that I have seen is that jasmine is actually an aphrodisiac. Okay, so it kind of stimulates the virility of the person, and that's why probably since ancient times, jasmine has been used as a probably a potential kind of a mood booster, as you would call it. Jasmine tea is also extremely good to have. You can just put the petals in it, and to be also precise, the leaves of the jasmine flower can also be infused in your tea. Okay, they also have some benefits. So jasmine is, I think it's common. Jasmine teas are around, but again, it's something that you can't take in excess, because what happens is um, it can promote excess secretion in the liver. So don't take it for extended periods of time, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then you stop. Don't over drink jasmine tea. Drink it once in a while. Okay, and it has a lot of other properties such as anti-inflammatory, and they can actually cure a lot of viral infections that you might have, bacterial infections. So once in a while you can do that. Now, the the other one is the other flowers. Of course, you wouldn't know. There's another flower which is called the cornflower. Now, cornflower. Okay, it's a blue flower, and that's used for a lot of cosmetics. Okay, and a variety of topical solutions that you can put on your face, reduce acne and things. That is the, but not very easily available. Now it's cornflower. Okay, not cornflower, which you use to make a lot of other things. It's not that's not the one you put in your food. This is the actual flower. Okay. Now, of course, you know the sunflower very well. But the sunflower petals help with ulcers. If you have any ulcers, it's a good thing to have. And it's a good gargle for sore throats. Now, sunflowers, I know you'd have to go and buy them from the flower shop and, pick on them and do it. But as a product, the petals are not just sold like that. Okay, and the very good old and very traditional flower, the rose. Okay, the rose has been used in so many things, and it is especially good for cooling the body. Now, rose petals can be strewn around your pillow, and it will actually help reduce the body temperature, so that you have a very probably a more pleasant sleep. Now, it does contain a lot of vitamin C as well, so I'd be surprised that a rose has vitamin C in it. But that's only something that will help you against fight colds and coughs and things like that. Now, it really helps in increasing the blood circulation. So if you can make a rose petal tea, it's good. They also claim that the rose petal can also stimulate your scalp because the circulation has improved, and they advise having tea infused with the rose petals to help you promote your skin and your scalp. Okay. Rose tea is also a mild laxative. Okay. So it's one of those days when things are not really, happening for you in the washroom, and you just need a little help. Rose tea is a mild laxative. So I'm kind of done for the flower power. But as I said, you can always research flowers that are around, because every single flower, like hibiscus is there, which is they call the shoe flower, which is used as a strong remedy for preventing your hair from getting gray. I've not really had any. I've tried it before. I've not really had great results. So it works on some people and they don't. But even hibiscus is a flower that you can research, and there are many other flowers that are out there that can really be beneficial to you. So that's it for my topic for today. So I'll open the floor to any question and answers.